The night had arrived for what was billed as the political showdown of the year. Donald Trump, the sitting president of the United States, facing off against Jasmine Crockett, the rising star of American politics. The stage was set, and millions of viewers tuned in for what promised to be an intense conversation. But no one, not even Trump himself, was prepared for what would unfold. Trump, known for his confidence and command over the media, arrived at the studio with his usual entourage. He was ready to dominate the conversation, using his sharp wit and years of experience to control the narrative. But there was something different about Jasmine Crockett. She wasn't intimidated by his power or his years in politics. She had built a reputation for standing up to corruption and powerful figures, and she wasn't about to back down. From the moment the cameras started rolling, the dynamic was clear. Trump attempted to steer the conversation in his favor, talking up his achievements and downplaying any controversies surrounding his family. But Crockett wasn't having it. Her questions were sharp, direct, and focused. She wasn't interested in letting Trump control the narrative. She wanted to expose the deeper truths, and she wasn't afraid to ask the hard questions. The tone of the interview shifted quickly. Trump, usually the one controlling the room, now found himself on the defensive. As Crockett pressed him on his family's business dealings, especially involving Ivanka Trump, the tension in the room became palpable. Trump tried to deflect, but Crockett wasn't going to let him off easy. The audience could feel it. This wasn't just another political debate. This was a battle for the truth, and Crockett was ready to reveal it. As the interview continued, Crockett pulled out documents, financial records, emails, and testimonies from whistleblowers. Each new piece of evidence made it harder to deny the connections between Ivanka Trump's businesses and her father's policies. The allegations were serious, showing that Ivanka had used her father's presidency to secure lucrative government contracts for her business interests. The room grew tense as Crockett laid out her case, one document at a time. Even as Trump's face grew red with anger, Crockett remained calm and collected. She had done her research, and she wasn't afraid to put it all out there. The room fell silent as the evidence mounted. Trump's typical bravado was nowhere to be found. But just as it seemed the tide had fully turned in Crockett's favor, something unexpected happened. The broadcast suddenly cut off. The screen went black, leaving viewers at home in shock. What had just happened? Was this a technical malfunction, or was something more deliberate at play? Inside the studio, confusion spread like wildfire. The host, flustered, tried to regain control, but no one had an explanation for what had just occurred. Back in the control room, panic set in. The live feed had been cut completely, leaving viewers at home with more questions than answers. Was it really a technical glitch, or had someone pulled the plug on the broadcast to prevent the truth from coming out? The producers scrambled to figure out what had happened, but the silence spoke volumes. Trump's team had acted fast, cutting the feed at the most critical moment. The public, however, wasn't buying the official explanation. Social media exploded as people demanded answers. Why had the broadcast been cut? What was Trump trying to hide? The controversy only grew as the minutes ticked by. What had been revealed about Ivanka Trump's business dealings was no longer just about the interview. It was about whether the public would allow the truth to be buried. Inside the studio, Trump's advisors were already in crisis mode. They began making calls, attempting to discredit Crockett's revelations and control the narrative. But it was clear that the damage had already been done. Even as Trump's team worked to shut down the story, more whistleblowers came forward, and the media began digging deeper into the Trump family's business dealing. Crockett, however, remained unshaken. She knew that cutting the broadcast only added fuel to the fire. Her revelations were already out there, and now it was up to the public to decide whether to accept them. She didn't need to back down. She had exposed the truth, and now the world would have to reckon with it. The battle between Trump and Crockett was far from over. What had begun as a simple interview had turned into a political crisis. The questions about Ivanka Trump's business dealings wouldn't go away, and Trump's attempt to control the narrative only made the controversy bigger. As the world watched, it became clear that this wasn't just a fight over one scandal. It was a battle for the future of American politics. Would the truth be silenced, or would the public demand accountability? The stakes were higher than ever, and the political fallout had only just begun. The stage had been set, and the real battle for control over the nation's narrative was only getting started.